Okay guys, welcome to another completing the square question. This one says solve by completing the square. That means what are the values of x that will make this true, that will make this whole equation equal 0. When we're completing the square, we care about b. b here is -8. We care about b over 2. Half of -8 is -4. And we care about that number squared, so b over 2 squared. -4 squared is positive 16. That's the number that we're going to be adding and subtracting. So x squared minus 8x, I put plus 5 equals 0 all the way over here. I'm going to add and I'm going to subtract 16 to keep it balanced. Now, this thing right here, that's our perfect square trinomial. That factors, and actually our factor is going to be this b over 2. So we're going to have x minus 4 squared, just a neat trick that's going to be what that factors into. And we have minus 16 plus 5. I'm just going to combine minus 16 plus 5 into minus 11. Now it's in vertex form. That's our same equation, just in vertex form. And we know that that equals 0. So in order to solve, we need to get x on one side and everything else on the other. The first thing we're going to do is now get rid of this minus 11. Let's add it to both sides, thinking that this is a wall down the middle, and we need to do everything to one side to the other. We're left here with x minus 4 squared. And on this side, 0 plus 11 is 11. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is we want to get rid of this whole thing squared. So we're going to take the square root of this. If we do it to one side, we do it to the other. I'm going to continue my work over here in this blank space. So the square root of that whole thing, that cancels out, and we're just left with x minus 4. Now, don't forget that when we take a square root of something, the square root is both the positive and the negative of that. So the square root of 11 is some ugly number, so I'm not going to write it out. I'm just going to leave it. But whatever it is, it's the positive or the negative. And the final thing that we want to do, we now have x minus 4 equals plus or minus square root of 11. Let's get rid of plus 4. We get rid of it on this side. We have to get rid of it on that side. So we're left with x by itself. And on this side, we have positive 4. I'll just write 4. And we have 4 plus or minus square root of 11. If you solve this using the quadratic formula, you're going to get the same answer. But if they ask you to solve by completing the square, this is the way that they want you to solve it. You get x is equal to 4 plus or minus the square root of 11. It's a big tricky question, but you guys got it, and I'll see you in the next video.